Here we are with
Okay.
another Saturday Night Live Zoom. And where are we at? March 23rd. We opened up the spring time here, and we got a nice cold day. So let's see what this year brings us. Every season change is a new experience and wonderful to embrace. Rana, you can take over.
Hi everyone, how are you? How is everyone doing? Yeah, it's getting warmer. Looks nice, sunny. Yeah, anyone likes to share their experience?
Quiet day. We go in silence.
I mean, I could talk, but I'd rather other people talk. I want to hear from, let me pick. I want to hear from Oliver first because he's just such in a magical place with his posts. I'd love to hear from you, brother.
Unmute.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. You're cutting out. Hello? Got a bad connection, maybe. Out in the wilderness. Still there, Oliver? I think we lost him. Yep.
Yeah, you've lost him.
Bad connection.
Yeah.
The garlic is sprouting up, so spring is definitely here.
Yeah. We in Italian they say mazza paz, meaning March is crazy. It's crazy weather. Yeah. It gets warm, gets cold. Yes, what was it? All day, all afternoon yesterday, and all night we had very strong winds, and the temperature dropped to -6 or 8 today. It was very brisk cold. So it's always a surprise in March. But the change is good. The sun's shining. All's well. How you doing, Steve? How you keeping?
Good. Just broke I did 37, 38 hours dry fast.
Nice.
The mind is crazy though. I mean, it's crazy. I didn't think it would be this crazy.
Yeah.
It wants to eat. My body doesn't, but my mind does. And it wants to eat everything that I don't want to eat.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's worse than you know what? Honestly, it's worse than the booze. It's that powerful.
Everybody's
this is powerful stuff.
Yeah. It's you know, people can say and believe whatever they like, but when you put the truth right in front of your face,
yeah,
you know, we're so programmed and so ingrained that we believe we have to eat, and it's like what was that test they did with the dogs, and they rang the bell and they started salivating, you know, when they were, you know, every time they rang the bell before they had to eat.
Pavlov's dog.
Okay, yeah, that's it. So there's like all these things are out there if you pay attention, and we're no different, you know, different. You know, growing up, we've all been there, and we've probably done it of being as parents. You know, if you have children, they have to eat at a certain time, you know, and this, that, and the other thing, and this program gets ingrained with it, and to change it, yeah. You know, good luck. You know, it's a continual effort to be aware of these things, and you know, the fasting is the simple part. Once you get into there, you're brutal. You had the odd craving here and there, but it goes away. It's controllable. When you start eating, the subconscious mind, because it's so ingrained with that program, it's going crazy, you know, trying to get you to eat and eat and eat like you've been starving yourself or something, because that's what the program is. And that's what we have to learn how to deal with. If we want, if we don't want, we just eat. Go back to your normal everyday 7-day-a-week eating, and you'll be, you know, good to go. Eventually, you'll fill up that GI tract with that protective layer again, and you know, whatever it takes, you know, a year or two, whatever. You can get back to that state. You know, I've done it a few times back and forth, so I know what I'm talking about. When, you know, people talking about this is not unsustainable, no, the unsustainable is the belief system.
Yes.
And that's what we have to realize. That's the only thing we really have to work on is our emotions, because the physical stuff is the simple stuff, really. But when dealing with these emotions that we've been programmed so deeply through our upbringing and through commercials, how many commercials we watched about food in our lives, you know, growing up on TV, whether it's on radio or whatever. It's you know, billboard signs, you know, just food signs about anything and everything all over the place. It's continuously hitting that subconscious mind. And that's why it's such a challenge for people to, when they break the fast, and is why we must learn to love the fasting more.
Yes.
The feeling of fasting, and you know, keep it as our lifestyle. If we don't keep those fasting resets, we will spiral back to where we were very quickly with eating anything and everything again. And you know, once you strip those layers, each layer, each nanoparticle inside that GI tract has memory and emotion attached to it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we're working with. When we start stripping it away, these emotions start surfacing. And if we don't understand how to deal with these when we start putting food back in, it's going to be a tough journey. So we understand that it's a challenge, no big deal, but anything worth doing is challenging.
Of course. So
we understand we have to make the effort, and it's a daily thing. It's a part of our life, and we continuously put the effort to work at it and make the changes, or not. Your wish is your command, either way. Nobody can force anybody to do anything. But you know, people saying, you've been at this 30 years, you're still not blah, blah, blah. No, because it's a lifestyle. You just don't get it. You know, it's a lifestyle. You're going to continuously work on it until you decide to leave the body. This is this realm where it's not something that you go to a circus and the event is done with and over. It's a lifestyle. And once we accept that and understand it, we keep chipping away and working away at it. And no matter what people say, we have the understanding and the knowledge and the experiences one by one to allow us to keep going. Because if we don't put that effort into those places, everything around us is the opposite. So it'll bring us down very quickly back to those levels, and believe, you know, get us back to believing that we need to eat and so on and so forth. We're missing this, that, and the other thing. And you know, it's funny, you know, because we see the exact opposite. When you take everything away, the body does miraculous things. And it's just mind-boggling sometimes to watch what the body can do when you leave it alone with nothing. You know, just support it here and there with the things we use, the tools and so on and so forth, and let it do what it needs to do. Oliver still didn't come back.
Steve, are you doing like a hybrid MFS? Are you still sticking to your daily dries and
Oh yeah,
your weekly?
I know.
Yeah.
Right the way you laid it out, eating 4 days and fasting 3.
That's all.
I hear what you,
Into
yeah,
12, about 14 hours intermittent every day.
yeah.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from because, yeah, it grabs you.
Oh,
It's triggers.
it's
It's
incredible.
just like, what is that? What where did
I
those
know all
feels
about
come
this from the other addictions that I've tackled, but
Yeah,
this is crazy. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
we've had massive floods in the Midwest of the country here, and I was listening to a fella talking about it, and I mean they've wiped the farms have been wiped out. We're going to have a serious problem with food this year.
Wow.
Half of these farms will not survive, will not come back, and with our leaders' trade wars, these farmers were storing all the grains they couldn't sell on site, so they've lost millions of pounds of grain. So I mean, it's been totally wiped out. But the thing that really caught my mind is he said, you know, globally, we spend trillions and trillions of dollars on food. And I'm like, and it's all garbage. Most of it's junk. But I mean, just the numbers. If you think about what we spend as a race, on food, and it's mind-boggling. It's just totally mind-boggling.
It's one of the biggest markets, if not the biggest, because every single person eats. You know,
Yes.
Oil's huge. Not everybody drives. Drugs, they're huge. Not everybody's on drugs. Food, pretty much every single person is on it.
That's why big farmers, it's such a scam. All this stuff is designed to be so addicting.
So these lands, you think they're destroyed because of the flood?
Oh yeah.
Where was it?
It's going to take them years to recover if they do. But that's not what's going to wipe them out. Is they're going to go bankrupt.
Well, you know, what is it? Indonesia, I think it was several years ago when they had that tsunami.
Yeah.
And the year after, they had the best crops they ever had.
Not going to happen here. They still have the snow melting. They haven't even begun to recede.
Wow.
There's places that are under 10 feet of water. Farmland. Wow. I mean, it is devastating. This is a serious issue here. This is a serious global issue here. This isn't just a U.S. issue.
How much part of the state?
There's six states affected, and they're all farm states.
Wow.
I actually saw that there's a bunch of animal rescues going on right now because of all the farm animals that are.
A lot of the cattle and it's pretty. They can't even quantify it.
Today
they won't know for years what the true cost of this is, and the devastation.
Today I had to walk in the center of the supermarket to go take my kid to the restroom, and it was so strange because when we go shopping, we just go through produce and then we leave. And the weird thing, the stranger thing than seeing all this packaged stuff was that I wanted to stop and I wanted to read every label and taste everything and have a moment with it. And I caught myself doing it, and I was trying to confront myself about the emotion involved in that and what I was looking for. Like, oh, look, it's ready to eat Indian food in a box. Yum. I want to look at that. Can I eat that? Is there a way? Oh, look, it's jackfruit in a can. Oh, that's got to be good. Can I stop? Can I look at that? Oh, there's lychees in a can, or, that was the least bad stuff anyways,
Yeah.
But there's so much tied to that life that we either led, in the past or have tried out recently and realized it wasn't a good idea. And that's really hard. And Steve was just talking about drinking before we got on, and drinking alcohol, that is. And I feel like I've used food as that completely my whole life. And I'm really trying to dive into all that right now. Because even tonight making dinner, I wanted to say, oh, I really want to have the sensation of dipping cauliflower in vinegar and having that. And it's the end of the day. I need to have an extra boost to deal with what I have to deal with for the night, because the night doesn't end right now, and I have to keep going. I have to keep going. I have to be in the Energizer mom. I have to do all this stuff, and how am I going to do it if I don't eat right now? But that's not the answer, so it's hard to deal with it head on. It really is. And you watch so many other people, even if you are like me and you follow social media accounts of people who are raw vegan or fruitarian, you see a lot of them pounding away food and feeling exhausted at the end of the day. But, oh, no, wait, we're going to go have more food. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep pushing this train along. Or sometimes people want to be super athletic, I see, and I love that too, but I'm just watching them and they're adding lots and lots more food and calories in, and I'm just watching it. I know what it is now. It's stimulating. And it's hard to then go back internally and say, all right, for yourself, you are going to go have a walk and you are going to breathe and you are going to look inwards for your energy now. That takes, it can take a lot to focus on that when everything around you is so different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In Alcoholics Anonymous, they really stress discipline. And that's helped a lot when I have these thoughts, because it's just discipline.
You won't do it.
It's just like sobriety. Sobriety is a lifestyle. There's a fellow last night in a meeting, 36 years. They still coming because it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And he's embraced the lifestyle. So
yeah,
there's a lot of discipline needed. You really focus and discipline. There's days I don't want to go out to a meeting. Or I don't want to go to the gym. The discipline kicks in and just do. One foot in front of the other. It's the only way to make it.
Yeah, we have to put that discipline, devote ourselves. Otherwise, not going to happen.
And it's got to be holistically devoted, not just no reservations.
What do they say?
I think that's what drew me to you, because you remind me of so many guys in the rooms because they're just straight shooters, and you're a straight shooter. And I love the way you answered some of the questions. It's like, because that's how I like them answered, I don't like the BS. I like just the information, and I'll take it from there. Thank you very much.
So, yeah, I just like to
so just don't change. You're doing a great job.
I got a lot of flack for it because
no,
I'm just exchanging information, getting the information as little amount of words as I possibly can.
But that's the focus that you need. That's
what do they say in these places you go for alcoholism? One drink's too many and 10's too much, or something, or not enough.
Thousands not enough.
Thousands not enough. Yeah.
It's true.
That's funny, because that's exactly how I feel about food. And I've told myself like this, that when I look at something like, well, let's say it's the cauliflower again, is there enough cauliflower in this world that could ever satisfy what pain you have inside right now?
No. Only you can fill that hole. Only you and your creator.
And we think otherwise our entire lives before this.
See, and it's an addiction. The food's the same. An addiction's an addiction. It has the same chemical reaction in the brain, no matter what it is. Yeah. There were studies done. There were CAT scans done of brains between alcoholics, addicts, and so-called normal people. And there is definitely a change. There, you can physically see the change in the brain of somebody who suffers from some kind of addiction. So it's not just lack of willpower. It's the whole physiology thing going on.
Yeah, if you eat, you have an eating disorder, pretty much.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
We can choose our addiction, can we? I mean, if we're humans and we know
Yes.
that we have this innate thing about addictions,
Yes.
it doesn't matter what it is. There's so many addictions out there.
You can change it.
You can choose it.
Yeah. Yes.
You can really choose it. I actually think fasting is an addiction. I feel addicted
Yeah.
to fasting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a
Yes.
damn good one.
That's a good one.
I'm so obsessed. I'm so obsessed. I'm having a good time. I'm literally having, being in a 3-day dry, just at the end of my 3-day dry, my third day.
Good.
It's just, it's like.
I made 3 days once. I haven't been able to get to 3 days again yet.
Oh.
I'm doing too much. I'm working too much. It's a little difficult.
Yeah. No, but the energy yesterday was just phenomenal. I think I slept 2 hours and it was just on this, I don't know, just on pure, beautiful energy from the, earth and nature and everything that was just feeding me. And my brain was so clear. I had energy in my body. I was just so happy. I'm pretty happy anyway, but I was really, really happy. And then, it's just been great fasting again, Steve, and everyone else, that when you do break, and then you go back fasting again, it's just for me, it's been a really great, smooth transition in. And I honestly think 6 weeks is a trigger mark. You've got to get back into some form of fasting pretty quickly, even if it's just a short one, even if it's just a month or something, just to keep your body. Because what I'm finding is my reprogramming is all disappearing. So what I've known in the past from before, even about food, it's just all disappearing. And you get reprogrammed, and you got to follow that, because what happens if you even look left, even if you look left, it will just, I think Abraham Hicks says 17 seconds for focus. So if you focus on something, you've got 17 seconds to get out of it. It might even be shorter now, how much time's speeding up, but you've got literally, you can't even look, you've got to, you've just got to, you just got to take everything out. That's what I found. To overcome this paradigm and the things that that are programmed in our cells. It's not our brain; it's in our cells. That's how I feel it. And you've got to literally take yourself out of that environment somehow, as much as you possibly can, and put yourself into something completely different. And yes, there's people that will say things, and yes, there'll be resistance because you're not doing what the 99.9% of people are doing, and that's going to come at you. But for some reason, if you can tap out of the mind, if you can tap out of that program, it's actually quite simple. If you can sort of, I know I'm fasting at the moment, so it's a lot easier for me, because when you're in that fasted state, things are just absolutely beautiful. And it's a lot smoother ride because you're fasting. So everything that I look at, it's all about fasting. It's all about, feeding my body from the other energies and God and soul and within and all that stuff. It's all there. It's just, and it's unlimited. It's completely unlimited. And I think what you've got to do somehow is, okay, you've got to find that balance, as Gino and Rana say, is you've got life going on, but you want this lifestyle. And some people have to take little steps, which I actually think is much more, in my opinion, personal opinion, is more difficult. Mm-hmm. But if you take big steps, like Steve, what you're doing here, you're here. You're breaking and you're here. And I think if you immerse yourself and you completely surrender to this lifestyle, it keeps you focused. It just keeps you going, because otherwise the other world is just going to suck you back in. It's just going to, oh, I've got a headache. Why have I got a headache? Oh, I've got to go see normally I go see the doctor. Oh, normally I get a prescription. This is my normal path. But somehow you've got to break that pattern and listen to what, Gino says here and Rana say, basically, you don't have to go down that path. There is another path, which is freedom, really. And how much do you want to put, how much, like what you said about discipline and, even Lisa, I know what that struggle that you have going down into a shopping centre and stuff, like how much do you really want your freedom, and what costs will you put your freedom at, and why do you deserve this? Because you deserve it, right?
Right.
I mean, we all know this. Like, I know, like, I'm not talking to a crowd of people that don't know this, because we're here. But it's the steps that you take, and I just think you just got to completely 100% dive in, and you just got to immerse yourself into it and love it, live it. And if you fall, it doesn't matter, because come on, give yourself a break, because you are lived this program from your ancestors as well, your parents' and it's a challenge in every way. But if you understand the challenges, like if you go back and watch the interviews, if you go back and do these things where you have an understanding this is going to happen, then you can kind of prepare yourself a little bit. You can kind of plan a bit, with the knowledge. And then when you get into the understanding of it, you break your fast, and then get back into a thing where, what is it that my soul wants? Like, how, for me, I have to be completely obsessed. So that's why I'm doing 180 days MFS, because it's like, if I want this so much in my life, I know I have to change the paradigms, and I have to give that. And it's only a short time. It's only a short time in my whole lifespan of going to live past 100 anyway now. So it's only a short amount of time. And now I talk a lot about being positive and staying focused, but that's the only way I get through it, because there is no other way. I won't talk to anyone. Someone invited us for dinner, basically I didn't say no, but I said no in a polite way, because I can't put myself in that situation. No. I just can't. Doesn't mean I don't want to see the people, because I gave them other options, right? So you give them other choices. It's not because of that. And you just got to be so hard on yourself. You got to say, this is what I want. I wake up every morning and I thank God every morning. I'm so grateful that I'm able to fast with you, God, with you, no one else, because that's all you need. You only need that. And these things that come at you during the day, if you set your intentions right and you go with that vision and you go with that focus, then to me, it seems to be a lot simpler, especially when you're fasting as well, because when you're eating, triggers come in. But, it's just a lot easier. And, I'm not living on any food or water at the moment. 3 days of no drinking food or water, so I'm here. I could probably go 5 days. I won't, because I'm sticking to the protocols, because I got Rana in my head. I always do 3 days, because I'm doing a long period of time, so I'm sticking to it. But I could easily go 5 days in the dry. It's just the pool's there, the magnetic pool of God, and being within and being in that soul is just so yummy that there's nothing else that ever beats that more than anything else. And it's just, I think this is possible. This lifestyle is very, very possible, Gino and Rana, what you created, the ease of it to get in, and to, you can do smaller ones, you can do stepping stones, and, whatever suits people. I think this lifestyle is very possible, and other people have proven it. You both have proven it, and and I'm proving it, and Steve's proven it, and many other here have proved it. But thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't need any proof. We just have to have an understanding and accept that it's time to make the change for ourselves. And once that happens, everything falls into place. The other thing that is very strange when you do long fasts or long dries, especially, and you're having so much energy going for many hours out of the day, and all of a sudden the monkey mind comes in and says, you got to stop for something. You can't keep going all day. You haven't had any food, you haven't had any drinks, all that crap. So there's the fear of that, because it's not a place that we're used to being, because we haven't been programmed for that. So we have all these resistances, that are come to play when we're fasting. Even though it's all positive, we still have all these things come into play. And we learn to deal with all that, and like we look at the positive side. The negatives, they're always there, no big deal. But if we keep focusing on that, we're going to keep doing the same thing over and over, and we know where that's going to get us. Expect different results with doing the same things. Insanity. But so many people are doing that, doing the same thing over and over and over. Go get a magic pill here, there, and that, and expect everything to change for them. Haven't seen it happen. Have not seen it happen unless you make complete lifestyle change. Good luck. They get this cut out, that burned, et cetera, and it's all cleared up now. You're good to go. Sure, okay. Doesn't work that way, but sometimes the belief system's so strong, and it's the only thing that carried them through these heavy-duty treatments. Because it sure isn't the treatment. Those are pretty severe attacks to the physical body and everything else as well.
Yeah, you've got to do the work. You've got to do the effort. That you don't get away from that, because you have to. It's a transformational journey. So you do have to do the effort, the work. Quite interesting. I don't actually have any fear, Gino, at the moment. I literally have, I don't know, maybe because I'm dry fasting. There's zero fear, which is a very interesting. It's interesting feeling that, like walking through no fear. It's I know it can come back, but it's just been March has just been wonderful for me. Yeah. And hello, Hannah. Love to hear how you're going.
Hello. Day 24 today.
Awesome.
Had some headache issues this week, but that's not uncommon for me. So I'm not really. I've never been able to pinpoint the triggers, and it could have just been coincidental. I don't know whether it was related to the fast or not. But the only thing different is, I would never take anything for headaches. I would just get through it, and usually the next day or max 2 days it would go away. Well, this time it lasted 4 days, and it was agonizing because I had to work, and it was the migraine. Well, not full-blown migraine, but headache, really bad headache, more like sinus headache, but with the nausea, and it just I was struggling. And in the past, I would cure it by having something to eat, and it would eventually go away. But it wasn't an option, so I soldiered through it, and finally this morning I woke up and it was gone. So I'm happy. But with that said, with the nausea and everything, I haven't been drinking much of the juice because I had no desire to drink, or I did the pudding. I do the daily enemas. Today I had a colonic, and but also I bought cherry juice instead of the grape juice, maybe because I was getting a little tired of it. So maybe try some different flavor too. But it seems like today maybe I'm picking up the taste for drinking juice, but it's a little, that's still struggle probably from the nausea. And also I finally, because I started fasting before I got my herbs. I had a first dose of herbs today. So I think that might be also a reason why I haven't, I know my kidneys are still not filtering, and but what I've seen is just, I have a intestinal candida issues, and I mean, it's like, especially when I have a colonic like today, I mean, I can see it. It's just, I don't eat anything, and I mean, that stuff is just flying out. It's just amazing. But the cravings are a little bit, well, I mean, it's still there. I enjoy smelling different foods. My husband was just toasting his bread, and it's not as much struggle going into the grocery store and shopping. I made some soup for my husband this week, and I really enjoy, while I'm cooking, it's not tempting, it's the finished product, and smelling the final product, how nice it smells. It's this home comfort and soup, because I'm very much a soup person. And so that's a little struggle. But really the most problem or most difficulty I have is if I prepare like sliced mangoes for him. And that, I really love juicy fruit. That's the biggest struggle, because I want to grab a piece and put it in my mouth. I mean, that to me is the most delicious of all. But I didn't cheat, and yeah, I'm going through it. But you know, now I'm realizing is like, do I really know what the feeling of a true hunger is? Because I don't know whether that I've ever experienced it. I mean, I've always had issues with food as a very small child. I remember I did not want to eat. I just wanted to eat when I wanted to eat, and I didn't eat a lot because I wasn't hungry, and my family literally forced me to eat, and it was very traumatic because there was a corporal punishment involved for not wanting to eat. And I mean, I was maybe, you know, a year or 2 years old, and I still remember how traumatizing it was. And I couldn't get the food in, and they were forcing me. It was just, but it became worse because I was so anxious about it, and I couldn't eat even if I wanted to, because all I had was an anxiety, and I just stored the food in my cheeks as much as I could, and they kept shoving it in, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. But I couldn't swallow. And then finally, you know, I mean, it's like everywhere I would go, even in the kindergarten, everybody complained, well, she's a really nice girl, well behaved, but she does not want to eat. And I'm like, well, I don't want to eat when you tell me to eat. Because if you go to school or kindergarten, you always have to be on somebody else's schedule. Well, maybe I don't want to eat when you tell me to eat. Maybe I don't like the food that you presented to me. I was a very picky eater as a child. There was a lot of things. There was only a handful of things that I would eat. And then I guess, you know, finally when I had puberty, the hormones kicked in, although I was a late bloomer too. I literally went the other way, and I started binge eating, I guess, to catch up for all those years of childhood I didn't eat. But, you know, I was tall and I was growing, so it never showed up. I was never overweight, but I mean, and everything in my life, growing up with family, everything evolved around food. So I'm just I'm just now realizing, although I have been realizing it even before I started Master Fast, with me, it's a crutch. I'm eating because I'm bored. I'm eating because it makes me feel good. And, you know, now, and it's like if I went on a trip or go somewhere, I planned everything around food. Am I going to have enough food? Am I going to have the right food? And how am I going to do this logistically? And now I don't have to worry about it. I just have to worry about me having my juice with me and tea, and off I go to work. And
simple. Hunger, as you said about hunger, I don't believe there's such thing as real hunger. It's all emotional, 100%.
I think so too. Yes.
Have you read the protocol thoroughly?
I'm still reading through it. Well, the other thing is that I've noticed, but it's also I had thyroid issues or have a hypoactive thyroid, so I've been on for about a couple of years. I've been taking thyroid hormones. So when I started a master fast, I quit. I no longer take anything. So obviously, when you're taking the hormone as a supplement, your body is not making anything, and so I am struggling with. Well, even when I was taking the hormones, I'm one of these people that are constantly cold, where now it's being cold on steroids. I'm literally wearing, and I kid you not, I wear 6 layers to work, because I work, this is funny, I work in a hospital, and I'm there for I work 10-day shifts, and I work in a pharmacy, by the way. So to keep everything cold, it's constantly cold, to keep all the drugs cold. And in the cold air, if you open, the window into the IV room, I mean, the cold air just blows at you, and I can't stay warm. It's just like, I'm running out of clothing to wear, and I can't sit there in a coat, and everybody's looking at me. Well, they kind of know I'm always cold, but I'm thinking, what am I going to do when it's warm outside and I'm going to come, because I still wear winter clothes. Like right now, I have 3 layers on, and it's supposedly 65. It was 65 outside, and I was still wearing a jacket. And my husband looks at me and says, he's wearing a short sleeve shirt, t-shirt, says it's 65, and I have the jacket, and I'm like, I feel just fine. So that's another issue. But I mean, what the heck, I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, you get cold when you fast. That's pretty common. Is this your first fast? What was your diet?
Yeah, it is really my first, because when I did the 1 week or 8 days juice fast, I was off work, and it was in the middle of hot July here in Tennessee, so I would spend a lot of time outside, so I really didn't have to deal with the cold. And I was really apprehensive a little bit about doing a fast in the winter months. I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna be cold. I also did like the liver cleansing, which you have to be fasting for a week, just do kind of juices, or they were doing juice, but they also had like a special soup that you would have with, maybe, I know it was like, you could pick the vegetables, beets, broccoli, something else, and then put some spices like turmeric or something like that. So I know how cold I felt during those times too. But the funny thing, I think maybe someone mentioned it on the last call, that it worked for them. I've done these liver purges or whatever, where you drink that oil and all this, and I adhered to it, I mean, to the T. And maybe it worked the very first time I purged a couple stones, never had anything afterwards. So there's just something like I feel, and even with this, like my body is just holding on to stuff for dear life. And I know I don't even know if I'm gonna really break this fast. I'm thinking it may take several fasts before I really see any kind of like breakthrough, because for whatever reason, I just feel like I'm just so closed up. It's just doesn't want to let go.
How much are you drinking a day?
Well, see, the last 4 days I have not been drinking much because I was so nauseous from the headache. So it was really hard. Now I do have a question. So when does the amount of liquid, the juice per day, does it also include the amount that I put in to make the pudding, or is that totally separate?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Okay.
I'm asking because I'm concerned of what you're saying. Many people
Okay.
have gotten themselves in trouble very quickly. They dry themselves out. What starts happening? You start drowning your own filth, and the first signs are nausea. The juice tastes too sweet. You can't drink anymore, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These are the first signs, and it comes on quickly.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking how much you're drinking a day.
Let me see what the size is. Oh, sorry. So this is 1 quart. Well, I can't really get 2 quarts. Sometimes I did 2 quarts in the beginning. About 1.5. But these last few days, it was just probably the 1 quart. That's all I could get in.
Yeah, it's low. We like to see people, especially newbies, at two quarts a day minimum.
Okay.
How much enemas are you doing?
Well, I'm doing my enema, so it's I think it's a 2 quart bag. That's for time reasons. That's all I can do. I do it every morning, every day, and then I try to squeeze in once a week colonic. So.
Okay. Yeah, especially when you're getting headaches and stuff like that. When you're getting headaches while you're eating, that's one thing. But when you're on a fast, all weaknesses come to the surface. So when something like a headache starts coming up on a fast, it's a whole different ballgame because the body's doing and working on the root and the seed causes of that. That's why it's coming to the surface. And the best thing to do is extra enemas and colonics when you have headaches or any other symptom or emotion that comes up. You just keep doing extra kilometers. 2 liters is quite low, and you're
Okay.
low, so you can put yourself in a drying out situation very, very quickly. How much herbal support are you on?
I'm sorry.
Herbal support tinctures.
I have the 12 herbs, and then I bought extra for, I think it was immunity or something. Yeah.
Excellent.
But see, the problem is I was working 10 days in a row. I worked 10-hour shifts. Mm-hmm. So with the commute to and from work, because I have to commute, I'm out of the house for 12 hours. So I have to leave the house at 11 in the morning, and I don't come home until 11 at night. So, the last thing on my mind when I get home that late at night is to do another enema. I just go straight to bed. So, it was just unfortunate it happened during the time that,
How many extra things do you do when you're eating? I'm sure you have less time when you're eating than when you're on a fast. So
that's true.
The food, this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, I mean, I still go, still have to go shopping and to replenish. And I was doing some cooking for my husband, but I'm trying to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep because I'm one of these people that needs a lot of sleep, whether I'm fasting or not. So, in the past, sometimes, like, I've noticed when I come home and go straight to bed, it works for me. When I would come home and maybe I'll watch a little bit of something, and then, midnight rolls around, I feel there's just something about the schedule. I don't feel right the next day. I feel like I didn't get enough sleep. And then I also tried to wake up at the same time with my husband, who, goes to work, at regular hours. So because of my schedule, we don't get to see each other a lot. So I'm not, just because I work till late doesn't mean that I sleep till late. So, I do have this routine where I, the only thing I do when I get home is I boil the tea, the kidney tea, and, let it sit overnight. And then in the morning I strain it, and I'll make the juice, and I'll prepare the pudding, and then I'll heat up the water for the colonic and all this. And, before I know it, it's time for me to leave the house. So I got it kind of.
Have you thought of getting a Colima board?
No.
Be pretty much the same time as one enema, in my opinion. At least for me, it was. But it's 20 liters instead of 2 liters. And the other thing is, when you wash your colon at night, you would actually sleep much better. There's no question about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe do it twice a day.
At least.
Yeah, that would be better.
At least,
if you only got time for that one in the morning, then do another one as soon as you before you retire or whatever.
Yeah. But
okay.
I would get a Colima if you don't have time and you want to save time, because enemas, like 3 enemas would take time.
Okay.
Yeah, like 2 hours, I would say, for 2 enemas for me. So I would get a Colima board, and just like 35 minutes, you're done,
Would more frequent colonic treatments help?
Always.
Yeah, but you need time for that too, no?
Yeah, I need an hour for that. Yeah. Yeah.
It's best for you to get a Colima, or just for the time's sake. But if you don't want to do that, at least do 3 enemas a day, and I would do before sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, if I am not working, I can do 3. But if I am working, I could do.
Yeah, but we're all working. And how about like in the morning? Then like squeeze the 3 in the morning.
You mean do like back to back to back?
Yeah, this is how I used to do that. Otherwise, you're wasting time.
Okay. So it's really just about the amount of the fluid, right?
60.
Okay.
The whole thing about MFS is what we're doing. All the work is done in the dry fast, the squeeze, and then we have to wash.
Yeah.
Whatever the body's loosened up from the fast, we want it out as quickly as possible. This is where the herbs come into play to keep the energy channels open and flowing, and the drinking and the washing from below. We need to wash that out as quickly as we can.
Okay.
So this is why people get in trouble, and this, you start seeing skin situations happen, and so on, the body can't get rid of it quick enough.
Yeah, I do have that as well. It's so funny. When I was on paleo, I had cystic acne on my back. Then when I went the vegan, well, not vegan, but it really like whole food, plant-based diet, that was the only time that it went away. And now when I started doing the fast, I have tremendous breakouts on my back. It's like being back on paleo, and it's this deep, it's really deep. It's disgusting looking. Yeah.
It's not, it needs to come out.
Yeah. Okay. I think
quick enough.
I think I can, as long as I can do it in the morning, as long as it doesn't have to be like spaced out through the day. Okay.
One after another.
We always say 6 liters. It doesn't matter any time. At least.
Yeah. How long do you plan on going?
As long as I can. I said minimum 40 days. 108 would be great. I just looked in a calendar. I will be going back to my home country at the tail end of the 108. So I'm not really, at this point, I'm not really sure how I'm going to handle it. But
the next question is, what are you going to do after you break the fast?
Yeah, you don't have to do 108 if you want to do.
Right. Well, I have to break the fast with fruit and according to the protocol. and do the dry fast in between. And then at some point I would like to go back on doing another master fast. I mean, and then like we say, it's a lifestyle. It's not just a one-time thing. And also, see, the thing is, with all the different health issues and food intolerances, I kind of learned I've been through basically elimination diet and just paying attention to, like, okay, if I eat this, how does my body react to this? So I'm used to going into the store and looking at everything like, okay, I can't have this, I can't have this, I can't have this. I mean, it's ingrained in me. I read labels. I read labels on everything. So, I'm kind of used to having discipline.
The elimination diet doesn't work when you have a GI tract full.
Exactly. So now I know why, because it doesn't matter what I would put in my mouth. I mean, it can be a beautiful piece of fruit, but guess what? It's still gonna give me the same issue because I'm plugged up. So I have to get rid of it. I mean, I gotta keep doing master fast as long as
in between the fast is just as important as the fast. And this is where it's very difficult to get that message through to people.
And best not to buy anything with label. So save yourself time and energy and just go for the fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
That's
right.
That's
right.
How long were you on paleo?
Oh, I've been trying to count it. It's
approximately,
I'll say 3, maybe 4 years. And I can say it did, looking back, it definitely did a number on me.
40 years?
No, 3 or 4.
3 or 4, okay.
I would say maybe 3.5, but yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It didn't help.
Yeah, well, we've seen that it completely does a lot of damage through the whole GI tract, organs, and glands.
Yeah, well, I was doing CrossFit at that time, and it is so funny because they claim that once you change your body from a sugar burner to a fat burner, all your sugar cravings will miraculously go away. Well, number one, it never happened. It never happened for me. I not constantly, but I still craved carbs because it's not balanced diet. But I was very disciplined. I would have a handful of strawberries over here and over there. I mean, I was just really disciplined. And I had a hard time, but again, I was never overweight. So people will say, well, you don't have a weight to lose. But at the same time, I struggled to keep the weight at the amount of weight that I wanted. Because if I didn't vigorously exercise and overtrain with CrossFit, my weight would go up on that diet. I mean, it would not stay. And then, so just for people wanting to generalize, keto diet and it helps so-and-so and it's great. And I mean, I've talked to people and they told me that how much weight they lost and it's so fabulous. But at the same time, not everybody is different. Not everybody is the same genetically. I mean, just because something works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for me. I have different ancestry than you do. And, because of my chronic health issues, I even went and got genetic testing and all this. I've spent thousands of dollars trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with me and what's going on. And basically, so digging through my ancestry and health reports, I found out that, that I basically hold the genes. I mean, it's all about survival of the fittest. Come from lineage, people that went through famine. So what was the genes, the genetic makeup that was beneficial for them helped them survive. It's now damaging me because I'm living in this excess. Food is everywhere. And it's like, I'm not meant to eat all the time. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, it's just like, I'm meant to fast. And the one thing is when I started fasting is I don't have the brain fog. I can focus on my work. And I mean, I got to be alert for 10 hours at work. I can't afford to make a mistake. You know, I mean, I'm dealing with people's lives. And it's really helped me focus a lot more than when I was eating maybe even, you know, some fruit or some vegetable stew or something healthy. So, yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the benefits.
Are you a pharmacist?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen diets help anybody. And what people say works, once you start asking questions, what does work mean? You know, okay, lose weight, that works. That's how they interpret it. Okay, that's one thing. They
Yeah.
ask them how their bowels work. None of their bowels work well. Ask a colon therapist who sees people on keto, Atkins, and paleo. Their bowels don't work.
And the funny thing is, when I worked out, it was so embarrassing. My sweat smelled, it was horrendous. And I'm a woman, so I'm even more conscious of it. My sweat, I never had a stinky, I mean, it was just stench. It was horrible. My joints were just stiff. I mean, I could.
Working. Yeah, it's
but
working to get you more plugged up and
you know what you're saying, not to generalize, but honestly, I would generalize and say go back to nature. And nature is definitely not high meat diet.
No.
Nature, and that's fruits and vegetables, and for everybody. I don't care what blood type, what this, what that, what ancestors you came from. Fruits and vegetables. I mean, all of us have the same symptoms when we clean up, you know.
Yeah, but you know, when they market the paleo diet, it's the ancestry diet, right? I mean, they package it, they sell it to you. It's just like whatever will, you know.
I believe, you know, also marketing, yes, sure works. Also, there's marketing for veganism and clean eating and fasting. But I guess also they mix fasting with paleo and keto sometimes. But yeah, I forgot what I'm gonna say. Yeah, but not only marketing.
You're only going to spiral out to more and more confusion with all these diets, fads, and the other thing. That's all. And that's what I found. Once you start going inwards through fasting and connect with your source, God, creation, everything starts changing. And this is where, you know, we talk about the understanding comes through decades of experiences, because most people need many fasts over and over and over to start being able to see the mirror of truth, like to say, you know, where the answers start showing up for you. Because I don't have the answers for you. Each one of us has to find those answers through connecting through source. That's the only way you're going to do it. It's no diet, no this, no that. Like I'm watching every day. I'm not mentioning any names. There's another YouTube sensation vegan who was caught eating eggs and fish. Why? Why does this happen? Because it's not sustainable, these diets. No diet is sustainable. It's fasting is where you need to get the sustainability from, and stop obstructing yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Once we get to that state of understanding, then we know, okay, we can eat for fun, but let's choose the least obstructive ones. And if we choose the obstructive ones, we're going to pay the price. But we have the understanding we're totally responsible, and, you know, for our choices we make, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we have the understanding that by choosing the least obstructive ones between the fast is the best way for us. And some of us are gonna, you know, not stay on that all the time. We're gonna, whatever we want to call it, cheat. We don't even have to call it cheat. Just indulge in different things here and there, because to try and satisfy that emotion that something is missing on the emotional level, because that's all it is. And the food is not going to do it. The food just masks it, and the heavier foods mask it more. And this is the struggle and the challenges we all have.
I wanted to say that the meats as well, people would rather give up, you know, like breads and everything, but not meats for some reason, many people. You know, and then there is the exercise and everything that comes with meat as well. This whole idea that when you eat meat, you're gonna be able to build more muscles and you're gonna look more lean, and everybody loves that look. But does it obstruct you? Very obstructive.
Yeah, and then I got so sick of meat, and then I moved on to, well, there was one point that I went vegan, but I was still eating because I was still heavily exercising. I felt like I couldn't get enough protein. Plus, they emphasized, you gotta get enough protein. You gotta get enough protein. So, I mean, I was like, I felt like I was not getting enough food and starving and just working out like crazy. And finally, I had rock bottom where finally got diagnosed after years as a low thyroid, and my adrenals just basically I depleted my adrenals. So I hit the rock bottom. So, when I started, I was able to, I don't know, pump out 70 burpees with no break. And at the end, I couldn't even do 10 without a break. I mean, it was pitiful. And, then I just kind of threw a towel and I said, well, what the hell with all these diets? None of them work. Vegan doesn't work. Paleo doesn't work. I'm just going to eat whatever I desire. So then I went on a pasta craze. And I was eating for, 3 months pasta with tomato sauce. And just kind of watch, my waistline expand. And when I hit almost 145 pounds, that was the most I've ever weighed. I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So I came across, going back and came across this movement where they promote this basically whole food diet. It's pretty much fruit-based and some vegetables. And, that worked because my weight, I didn't do anything. Ever since I quit CrossFit, I have not been able to exercise really. I did some Pilates, but
what I tell people when it comes to exercise is I just fast, clean up, and when the body is ready, it's ready. Attention to that.
Yeah.
Whenever you have to go to work.
Exactly. I don't feel ready. I'm still kind of
You don't have to.
tired, but it's fine. But what I was trying to say is when I really cleaned up my diet, yeah, I did. I mean, obviously I did eat some obstructive food. I was making soups or, stews. It wasn't all raw. But in the summertime, it was pretty much raw. It was just, fruits and vegetables, just raw as much. The weight came off and I didn't have to diet. I didn't count any calories. I didn't count this and that. I just ate. I can't say I ate when I was hungry. I mean, there were a lot of times, hey, I'm bored, let me grab a piece of something. But I mean, at least it was a lot healthier than eating bread or pasta or something like that. But the weight came off. And I'm like, okay, so now my body is telling me that this is the way to go, because if your weight is coming off, this is good. But, the problem is I still had my health issues, health challenges, and my bowels were, at the time, I no longer would go have a colonic, but still had the bloatings. And I just, you just know something is off. It's just not right. So anyway, here I am now.
Yeah, for sure. Just, the path, fasting is definitely much easier on the body than anything else. And Master Fast makes it easy for us to go on a long fast. And it's a very spiritual experience. And I think that's very important for us to work on as well, work on our spirituality and our emotions and let go. I started praying 5 times a day about a year ago, and it was amazing. Before that, I was meditating 5 times a week at the same time, and then I became more like connected to God, through the prayer, and it was just honestly very powerful. I would say that let's explore connecting to God, not just not just fast to look good or yeah, and you feel amazing, you know, but it's much more than that. To feel good, you will look good, of course, as you clean up everything, your skin, your hair, everything will get better. But remember that your connection will be much stronger. So use that and grow. You know, it's our opportunity. I believe that's like the best thing about fasting, is that it helps us grow spiritually and emotionally too, and connect. And with that, I can see we can become stronger emotionally and more balanced, and we can go further with fasting and clean eating as well when we eat. Because what happens when we go back to eating is that we lose our balance, emotional balance. It's with the obstructions. So yeah.
We must love the lifestyle. Too many look at master fast and they think, you know, it's a juice fast, because they're just not doing their homework. Cooked juice as a juice fast, as we've talked about, is not wise for many reasons. It's a very strong stripper at the physical, mental, and emotional levels, because it's in the state of high order once you've cooked it. And I haven't seen anybody who understands what that means, but it's this is why it's we are able to strip that GI tract like no other. And when we're going and stripping down those layers, we want the energy channels to remain open and flowing. Otherwise, we get ourselves in trouble. And how do I know that? Because I'm talking from experience. And I've seen people over and over, the ones that don't listen especially. So make sure you're drinking enough, doing enough enemas, and you know, exercise. You don't have to do vigorous, but we need to keep moving. We need the lymph system to keep moving, whether it's brisk walking, light jogs, bicycle,
Even if
yoga,
your work,
dancing,
yeah,
whatever.
Even our work too. If you know your work, it's important for you to walk around and move around all the time.
Yeah.
That's also moving.
But even stretching, like the 5 Tibetan rites, which will take you like 15 minutes or so. You know, if you do the 5 Tibetan rites, something simple like that. You start off on a few, you get up to 21 of each. So, you know, there's so many things that we focus on, and using the tools to get us through the difficult times. Like as soon as you get in those headaches, that's number one, extra enemas. Sometimes you get a headache, you do an enema, headache, you know. So the headaches are because you're stirring things up, and the body wants to eliminate them, but it can't eliminate them quick enough. So it's still circulating within the body, and you get the headaches. But like I said, it's when you're eating and you're getting the headaches is one thing, because you're doing things which are causing, and
headaches.
You have that. The actual root causes is plaqued into that GI tract. When you're fasting, it's loosening it up, and you're getting the same symptom. And people think, you know, whatever. But that's the key, that with the new understanding that we pursue, to flesh that out, so we don't have to have that problem longer. We had Paulo, who had I don't know, headaches for 20 or 25 years. It was a long time, and he was on medication every day, and he gave up trying all kinds of things. After his 108 days, he pretty much solved the problem. And then when he was eating, he's seen different things that would kind of trigger back a little bit. And I says, you know what we got to do? You got to keep going, because you just begun. 108 days is just a start. And now he's in the middle of his second 108 days. The lifestyle, you know, the fasting. And when we're off the fast, we're still in the lifestyle, and we're thinking about when our next fast is going to be, when our next dry fast, when our next longer fast, when our next season, we're thinking about the fasting more than the eating, because the eating's always there, and we're always going to be triggered by everybody eating around us. So we don't need to think about eating. It's always around us. Let's put the energy and thought process into the fasting lifestyle, because that's really where you're going to see the magic happen. It's not with the food. Food is a place where we use it for joy and where we can help find ourselves in balance. And for everybody, it's going to be different. Some people go a little bit more heavier in their foods. Some people will be fine lighter. Very, very, very few will be able to sustain a fruitarian type of lifestyle. Very few. And we've seen out there what happens with the long term. You know,
Keep it clean as much
it's not
as you
sustainable. One in 1,000 can sustain that type of lifestyle. The fruitarian type of lifestyle, if you're not living in a place where that has fresh, ripe fruit all the time, it's not gonna happen. I don't see it happening with many people that are living in places where we get imported fruit and so on and so forth. So you're gonna have to find other foods that are
But always go for
on the low
fruits
obstructive
first.
side.
Always go for fruits first.
Yeah,
and
non-sweet fruits and so
yeah.
on and so forth. Frozen if you can.
And I mean, the best would be to make most of your week fasting, anyways. And when you eat, you don't need too much food. You know, a little bit of fruit here and there, if you can. If you want to add more stuff, add more stuff. You know, like vegetables, cooked vegetables. Keep it clean. I mean, everybody knows what clean food is. We all agree that fruits and vegetables are the absolute best food.
I see most people come to solve a problem to MFS. They want this problem solved, this challenge solved. And they're looking for that event or, magic pill or whatever to fix it. And I'm afraid, we've never, ever, ever said anything but this is a lifestyle right from the start. Because I've been doing this for 3 decades now almost. And if you don't make it a lifestyle, you'll have one experience behind you, and you'll have that in the memory and so on and so forth. And you may or may not pursue it in the future or whatever. But the biggest challenge I see is when people don't have that plan to make it a lifestyle. They do a long fast, and some of them will go to the obstructive foods and get themselves in real trouble real fast.
Yeah, I mean, think about this as a journey to heal the emotions, really, more than anything.
Yeah,
It's
the
our
physical
spiritual
stuff is
connection to God, really. I mean, it really is. I mean, when we are all over the place, it's going to be, our physical also is going to go all over the place with the food and addictions. So use it as an opportunity to grow emotionally and spiritually, and stay with it because it keeps us connected. You can do it from anywhere in the world. You can connect, to God. You don't need anything. You just connect. But fasting really helps you come closer and get cleaner, for sure. I mean, the obstructions are very very obstructive to our connection with God. The physical food. Yeah, even if it takes you a few hours of feeling really bad after eating and then going back to fasting, it's worth it because the connection is very rewarding, for sure. Yeah.
Choose wisely your paths. It's
Gina, what I was going to say, if it might help, is I remember when I first started, because most of us have come through all these journeys of all these different diets that we've been on. I've done raw food and, and all that sort of stuff. But what I did first when I made a decision to do Master Fast is I said to my mind, I've got to get rid of you, right? Because the programming of all that information, it's interesting. You want to move away from it, but it still ties you in. And I remember at the beginning, sometimes you've got to be bold. You've got to be black and white. And you've got to say all that shit that I've learned from before, which is a whole bunch of lies and crap. You've got to be really hard on yourself. It's a whole bunch of, lies. It really is. These paleos, they've confused us. And I remember when I did keto, what it does to your body. And you remember the pain that you're in. You go, that stuff, you just got to park it. You just got to get rid of it. Everything that you know, all that science, is everything. You just got to pick it up and just put it aside and just go, okay, this is a decision. This is what I'm doing. I'm just going this, and that's all I'm going to focus on. Because what happens if you draw that information back in, it will trap you back, as you say, Gino, Rana, as far as you back out again. It just sucks you back out. And then, and you've got to find a way within, like what Rana says, you have to go within, even if it doesn't matter what your belief system is or whatever it is, universe, go with the plasma love always flowing. Just tap into that, because the realm's here, and you tap in, and then you go, and that helps you to pull. Like, it helped me, because I remember the beginning, like I was just so confused about what Gino and Rana were saying, and even some of the interviews. Until you're in it, then you get the understanding. But like, I'm going, it makes sense. It resonates. That's why I'm here. Like, it resonates, but I just don't really understand it, because it's going against every single grain that's been told to me in the last, 48 years. That's not real. This is the doorway of real truth. And then you have to trust it. And you've got to step out in faith, because then you're in an unknown place that you haven't been in before. And you just go, well, and then when you do that, the soul comes in. If you believe in the soul, that comes in, and then it guides you. And then you come back after fasting, it could be 30, 60, 80, 90 days, and you go, far out, Gino and Rana were right. This is really true. Like, just put your trust and belief into what they say, because that's what I did, because I had nothing. I had no substance to prove, like, give me evidence, because we come from an evidence-based culture, and and I had to step out of that and step into this. And then once the understanding come through, what happens, all your beliefs of all the different diets just, oh my God, was I lied to? Was I lied to? Was I lied to? Because I always say this thing, anytime I have confusion, always it's a lie. Confusion is a lie. It's true. But I just wanted to see if that helps, to pull you further in here.
Yeah.
And anybody else as well, of course.
It helps. Thank you. No, I definitely I don't think of this as a diet or of some sort, by no means. I mean, I'm here because I've been struggling to find a lifestyle. Now, looking back, I can name it that this and this was a diet, but I wanted to make it a lifestyle in the past, but it didn't work. It was proven to be the wrong path. But I can't even tell you how really I stumbled upon Master Paths. It was a coincidence. I don't even know that I was looking for fasting or anything, but subconsciously I knew, because I was experimenting with food eliminations and some sorts of fasting in the past, that the only time I felt fine was when I wasn't eating. And I'm thinking, but that's not sustainable. I can't do that. I mean, I can do it only for a short amount of time, but I can't do this. I mean, so that's why I got to find a food that I can eat.
Yeah. You see, this is the belief system. We believe we need to eat physical foods, and it's ingrained within us. And there are people that don't eat and don't drink. There's a lot more that drink and don't eat, but there's also ones that don't eat and drink. And that's kind of an impossibility in what science tells us, right? So whether there is people who are doing it or not, doesn't mean it's not possible, because each atom has movement within it, and it doesn't eat, it doesn't have waste, and it continuously has the rotation within the atom forever and ever and ever. Just like the planets, they don't eat, they don't drink, they don't have an engine, they don't have wings, and they're continuously moving. So how does all this work? So the atom is basically the same as the way the universe works. Everything works on the same basic principle, an exchange of energy. There's a give and take with everything. Food in this realm, we believe that it gives us energy, but for most people, when they go on a fast, they have more energy than they've ever had. Once the GI tract starts clearing itself, the energy levels go up. Why? Because you're not using all that energy to digest the food, right? And this is why, if you're going to eat, the best diet to eat is raw, fresh fruit and raw green leaves. That would be the best category in that area. And then you start moving away from there, and you start getting into the heavier, and you start getting into the cooked, and so on and so forth. But for eating, yeah, we know raw food is the best. But will everybody be able to sustain that and be balanced with that? Most people won't, but that's okay. We can do things to make things and tastier and so on and so forth, and not be too obstructive. But like we always say, when you start getting into the cooked foods, why are they so addictive? Because the cooking process puts it in a high GAN state, meaning it's got a stronger magnetogravitational plasmatic strength. The problem is, though, it leaves more obstructions once it's cooked, the foods in general. And the fruit is one of the few that even when it's cooked, it's not very obstructive. All food is obstructive, even fruit, even fresh raw fruit. But this is the challenges that we're going to have to choose something that we're going to be able to sustain ourselves emotionally through our belief system to keep us going. But we can surely see that not everybody's going to be able to live without food. Most people are going to remain eating for sure, because it's such a deep program, and that's okay. But let's choose when we choose to eat. Let's choose wisely and make the right choices in that. We're gonna enjoy ourselves a little extra here and there, no big deal. But understand that you're gonna there's an exchange. You're gonna have to pay for it somehow to get rid of that obstruction sooner or later.
Yeah, and the more you fast, the more you will want to fast. So maybe just make sure, and because you feel amazing, make sure you have fasting days in your week, and slowly, listen to your body, and I'm sure your body will want you to fast more. So just if you want to eventually maybe explore even better feeling, then I would say incorporate fasting days in your week. The more fasting days, the better you will feel, and the better you feel, the better you will the more you will want to fast. Many people who go back to eating say, well, I feel better fasting, I would like to do a 40 days after like 3 weeks, and but they're eating, they're kind of addicted to the food. But everybody says I want to fast, pretty much, because it's an amazing feeling. And when you step away from it for a long time, you're not going to like fasting anymore, because you're very obstructed and addicted. But when you have it regularly in your lifestyle, somehow make it work. I don't know. Everybody's different. You know what works best for you. If it's 1 day of fasting a week or 2 days of fasting a week, then do that for a whole year. And then maybe next year increase if you like it. If you don't like it, then stay where you are, right? Like 2 days a week. Everybody, we are at a stage where we feel like we want more fasting, more fasting in our week. Whereas a new person might say, I just, one day is good enough, or 2 days a week is good enough. So start where you feel comfortable, your lifestyle.
We come to the understanding that when we're eating, we're obstructing, no matter what diet. So if we're eating 7 days a week, we're continuously obstructing and building and building and building. And depending on what diet, it's either faster or slower pace of plugging ourselves up. So we have to find that balance for the body. When we do these longer fasts, we clean it up, really well. and then we want to find the balance where we don't get it in a state where the obstructing is faster than keeping it in that state of not obstructions, right? I'm not trying to make myself clear, but we want to find that balance. We don't want to be in a building state. We want to be rounded off at the end of the month that we are, at zero state where we're not building, and if we're de-obstructing, even better, but at least not building obstructions. So that's why it's so important to keep your fasting regime continuously, even after you break these long fasts, your dry fasting schedule, so you reset and keep in that state, because the fasting state is the only time the body can de-obstruct. And if you're eating 7 days a week, the only window it has when you're sleeping. And some people go to bed, before they go to bed, they eat. And there's really no time they're de-obstructing, because the body's trying to digest that food at night. They don't sleep well and anything. But people do that because when you're so toxic, as soon as you stop eating, the body starts going into that elimination mode, and it's very uncomfortable for people. So people continuously eat to avoid that feeling. And some people, I've even heard, they get up in the middle of the night to eat something because they can't sleep. So that's in a really highly obstructive, toxic state when you get to that point. We don't want to get to those points. So, we want to be able to go on a 3-day dry fast, anytime, and you shouldn't feel too much off. And your energy should be good, and so on and so forth. That is the gauge for everybody. Do a 3-day dry fast and see how you feel. The worse you feel, the more you need to fast. Some people only make 3 days. That is,
if you do a few months of 3 days, you will get used to 3 days. There's no question. But the first month, the second month might be challenging, but the third month, you will be like, okay, I'm looking forward to it. So it's a habit that you want to build. And as you get cleaner, it will be easier. And as you practice them, your belief system will change, and you will be more confident about them.
I was going to say, the only reason I'm doing 180 days, so Rana can say to me, yes, Ranjit, you can now do a 5-day dry fast. I'm hanging out for you to say that, Rana. Yes, you're okay now. You can do a 5-day dry fast.
No,
at the end, break it with a 5-day dry fast.
Break it.
I will. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to I'm being funny.
Yeah, finish it with a 5-day dry fast. Like the long dries, I've seen so many people out there doing these long dries, and they get themselves in trouble. They go pig out, and it's just, you got to be really careful when you get into the long dries.
The deeper your fast, the more trouble you will be in when you break it, if you don't break it properly. So you really want to be strong, confident, emotionally as well.
Yeah. Long dries, more than likely you're going to get a little bit of edema here and there. This is okay. The body's got to reset itself from nothing to, putting foods back into the system and liquids and so on and so forth. So, these things are okay. And you'll notice they will be less and less as you clean up more and more. You won't get as much of these effects if you stay clean eating. If you go to the heavy foods, you're going to feel them. You're going to feel them, always. When your GI tract is cleaned out, it becomes very sensitive. And the reason why, when you're eating obstructive diet for all these years, you can put anything through it and you don't feel anything, because, and it doesn't matter what food you eat. When you eat physical foods, the GI tract builds a protective mucus coating in it to protect itself from the bombardment of the act of eating. Fruit will build the least out of all the foods. Then you got the greens, that'll build more. And then you go into grains and legumes, that'll build more. Then you go into the animal products, and you can build a lot more, So this is what happens. We need that protective coating to protect the lining from the foods. But
the truth is, really, nobody feels amazing before coming to the master fast, and that's why we came to the master fast. you know, I definitely didn't feel amazing, you know. And I only feel my best when I fast, for sure. Um, but yeah, I would say most people are like are not feeling good, even if they're not having.
If they're feeling
severe,
amazing, what are they searching for?
yeah, most people I would say do not feel good, and they're complaining about this or that. Some people found, you know, a balance where they're not always, you know, super obstructed, you know, even eating the standard diet, eating pretty much everything. Maybe they're limiting how much they eat, so they don't have too many addictions. You know, I see it. I mean, for example, my sisters, they don't eat vegan or are not into fasting. Maybe two out of my three sisters complain, and one is somehow found her balance, although she used to complain as well. Yeah, so it's really like nobody is feeling amazing. Nobody's feeling amazing. And the good feeling comes with somehow emotional balance and having some fasting in your lifestyle. It really helps to fast. Eating less is a big one too, you know. Somehow being satisfied with less. It's hard. Um, the addictions come back. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
We've got this lovely, beautiful lady, Latrice. I don't know if she wants to talk or not, but I'd love to. Feel like I want to hear from her.
Well, hello.
mm-hmm.
I just ordered my herbs a couple days ago, so I'm really excited to get those and start on the master fast. I haven't started yet. I do have everything else. I don't know if I should start without the herbs because I'm really excited to get going. I do fast every weekend already, and I do my dry fast during the week already. So, and I'm only on juices right now anyway, so we'll see what kind of transition it is. But I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
You fast on the weekends with juice?
I fast. I do 24-hour dry fast, and then I do lemon water, 24-hour lemon water.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that for a couple months now.
Okay. That a couple months ago was the first time you started fasting?
No, it's the first time I started making it a regular habit.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've been fasting off and on since I became vegan, which is 9 years ago.
Okay.
So, and then I did a 10 months raw vegan, and then I went back to eating craziness, all vegan, but bad vegan foods for about 5 months. I went crazy. Yeah. And then my body was like, no, I don't think so. So I went back to raw, and it's been almost a year now back raw foods. Okay. So, yeah.
Be ready. This is the hurricane. It changes everything. It completely shatters our belief system and everything. Most people are just not ready for the change. We've seen it. And it's this is a very, very, very radical way of compared to what's out there. And is one of the things that kind of kept me from sharing this information, because it's so radical. But the radical is where the big life-changing metamorphosis happen. It ain't gonna happen from mundane doing the same thing over and over. You got to make some radical changes, and that's the new understanding. So we make it a lifestyle. We understand that it's a process, and it's several years of a process. But the several years is basically your lifetime, right? That's the process. It's the rest of your life. Like I say, 9 years is a good start. 108 days opens the doors. 9 years is a good start. and really, I'm talking seriously.
Yeah.
I see so many things out there. 3 days, your whole immune system's rebuilt on fasting. 30 days, you can cure yourself of cancer. I hear all these things, and I've never ever seen any of it, because just because a test shows that you're free of something, you haven't metamorphosized and changed your state. There's just no way in 30, 40 days or a few months. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. You can experience feeling better, you cleaned out a bit, but the big changes come from many, many years of doing it and committing and devoting to yourself and trusting in yourself and start gaining the understanding and start seeing all the answers that you're looking for, because that's the only way you're going to find them, is connecting with source and through the fasting. Like most all spiritual gurus talk about fasting and practice fasting, so there's a reason for it. You know, it's a physical, but it's like a gateway to the soul, working through the physical. And it's the easiest way to connect that I've found for most people. You know, a lot of people say they can, well, not a lot. There's a few out there that say they don't need to do with diet and this, that, the other thing. But if they're, you know, if you're able to connect and so on and so forth, why are you eating? And especially why are you eating dead animals and so on and so forth? You know, if you're evolved to that state. If you evolve to that state, you start coming to the understanding that in the higher order of things, all life forms are equal, even plants, you know, insects, everything's equal. So we look at things in a whole different, with a whole different eye when we start living a fasting lifestyle and start connecting. It's just a wonderful feeling when you start connecting and start tasting what I like to refer as the nectar of God. It's a wonderful sweetness that comes into your mouth. It's actually you'll taste it, and your desires for everything will go away. You won't have any desires when you get to that state, and it's just a blissful, peaceful place to be. And it happens when it happens, but we work at it and we live it and we love it. Continue, and it's all is good. So we don't recommend people start without any tinctures.
Okay.
You know, 1 to 3 days. I wouldn't do any more than that. It's before. It's we want to keep the channels of energies open, and that's the key. And the only people I saw get in trouble are people who didn't follow the protocol and started pushing themselves too much, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're making this a lifestyle, so there's no rush. There's no rush. You know, the first fast is, you know, just see what your feet and see how it is and so on and so forth. I'm kind of reluctant now to recommend people doing 108 days, because no matter how many times you say, are you ready to exit the 108 days today from when you start, day one? Are you ready to exit properly and live the lifestyle? Yeah. And that doesn't happen because they're not ready. Because the change is so dramatic at all levels. It's too overwhelming for people. You know, it's just
until you experience it, you will not understand.
Your whole reality gets shattered, and then all these things start coming into play of deficient in this, that, and the other thing. When you start eating, yeah, okay, sure. No, it's because they're going to eat all the wrong crap and start plugging themselves up in a GI tract that's, you know, velvety clean, and the body's going, "What are you doing?" And they keep doing it over and over and over. And,
you get into a state of depression, really. I would say, where it's like the obstructions are overwhelming.
Yeah.
And you know, again, that I feel that spiritual connection goes away, and it's almost like depressing from being almost I mean, the best feeling in the world to a very, very obstructed feeling.
There you go. It's lots of fun, and we need to have fun. We need to laugh every day. We need to laugh, have fun. When we have some strong healing reactions. It's not fun. It's not fun, but honestly, it's time when you're on a fast, it's time to jump for joy because there's things happening that we don't have a full understanding, but we have the trust and the faith that the soul knows exactly what to do, and the physical body is responding and doing the work. That's how it works, is from my understanding. It's not the other way around. It doesn't happen this way. It happens that way. So as we clean up, the soul goes into autopilot and does its work. All creation is created through souls, through energy. It's not done physically. The spark of life is done at the higher order, the light level, if you want to call it that, the plasmatic level. And it's a wonderful thing when you start connecting to these wonderful energies that are plasma love always flowing.
Yeah, and when let's say like a person is very spiritual, it is very unlikely that they will be eating and overeating obstructive food. Yeah, it is very unlikely. I don't see it happening. When a person is spiritual, they're going to really balance out their eating, and maybe most likely incorporate fasting as well in their lifestyle, and eat lightly, more fruits and vegetables, back to nature. This is God's food. It's not man-made food. And that's what we want. We want God's food. It's the best feeling in the world, to be connected.
Ranjit, this is exactly the way my life has been going. It's been like less and less and less and less food and more of the natural foods, the raw fruits and veggies. And I just feel like Master Fast is my next step, the next level that I have been called to go on. My soul's leading the way. So, I miraculously just found you guys, and you feel like family already. And so everything you're saying, I totally resonate with. It's exactly what I've been experiencing. And even just with incorporating fasting more on a regular basis, I'm feeling so much more connected. I have days where I'm just completely blissed out, I'll just start laughing out of nowhere for uncontrollably, or I'll start crying, but it's like tears of joy and love and overwhelmingness. And, I feel a call to be in nature more. So I'm sitting outside now, it's just, I feel real connected with everything. And so I'm real excited to see where I go next from here with Master Fasting, really getting in deep and clearing out deep. This is, I think this is exciting.
We have not seen any plateau on Master Fast.
Yeah. Keep feeling more and more obstructions out of your body, and you feel deeper and deeper connection. The longer the fast, the deeper the connection.
Yeah.
But of course, you just want to be careful how you break it. It's good that you already practiced, eating clean.
Yeah, it goes in waves. You get to a point where it seems like the body will start building on the same program, but you can still go in waves of depthness beyond that, because there's always layers and layers and layers. It's infinite that we get through.
And somehow try to do your best to keep it deep when you break your fast. So maybe incorporate more fasting days, more than 2 days a week, maybe 3 days a week or 4 days a week of fasting and eating 3 days a week, which is, I tell you, is way more than enough. It's way more than enough to eat 3 days a week. You will know it. You don't need us to tell you. Steve is eating 4 days, right? 4 days a week. And he knows the pull to the food.
Yeah, and I'm going to change it to the other way: fast 4 and eat 3, because 4 days is too much. As soon as I finish my side job, I'm going back on a fast. I've already made that commitment. So probably within three weeks, I'll be back on a master full. I'm not enjoying the eating at all. Just the first couple of days I did.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah.
Do your best, yeah. Somehow find your balance, because it's all about you finding your balance.
Yeah.
And deciding what's the best lifestyle for you. You know your life.
I wanted to go deeper. I couldn't do it with what I'm with the workload. That's all.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. It's
No,
Keep
no,
learning, yeah. Keep
no. I was at peace with breaking it, and
Yeah, you did amazing.
my kidneys were sure at peace. Let me tell you. You know, that's funny because on my dry days, I'm good till about 18 hours, and then the kidneys start really coming in again.
Yeah, deep
So I know it's
deep healing.
that's good. I'm fine with that. I know it's coming when I go back on.
they're the kidneys. You know, they're very small organ, but they do tremendous amount of work. It's
Oh, it's incredible.
fasting. Oh boy.
It's a good sign.
And when you're overeating too. when you're
I've never seen anything like it. I've never experienced anything like that with with any part of my body. But with this and the kidneys, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
that is powerful stuff.
Yeah. So, we just keep working at them and keep supporting them, keep loving them. I had kidney challenges for many, many, many years.
Oh, I know it. I read it.
Many years. So, we got to keep loving them and keep working at them.
But I exercise too. Somebody was asking about exercise. I exercise every day. I mean, I start my day in the gym, and I'm up to 50 full minutes now.
Nice.
Not heavy, but it's I do 30 minutes of aerobics and then some light weights and then a series of stretching. So I'm moving, absolutely moving.
How many times a week?
5 days.
Wow.
5 days. I used to do 7, but that was a little. I'm getting on. The age is getting 7's a little too much at this age. I just turned 60.
Congrats. Are you using different muscle parts, different days?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it's a little challenging now after the 62 days because I lost a lot of muscle tone. But
yeah, it comes back quick. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, it's coming right back.
Yeah,
it's coming right back.
The
just got to keep it light.
The biggest challenge with people that work out is they don't give the body enough time to recover.
Correct.
And the worse diet and more obstructive you are, the more time you need. So as you get cleaner and cleaner, you'll be able to do more and more with the same muscle, but it's always wise to give muscles rest. When I was doing the vegan keto, high fat, I was doing really heavy weights. Real heavy in your strong range of motion, not full motion. And I was getting really, really strong. First of all, high fats and all that, and, protein is very stimulating, right?
Yes.
At the same time, obstructive. So I was getting really strong, and I was doing one body part per week. Wow. Wait a minute. I had 4 different workouts, and was it once a week now, or once a month? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't remember. I was doing one workout a week, and 4 different workouts. So each muscle would only be worked out basically once a month. Once a month. So like the legs, I shared a video. I've been doing huge amounts of weights, and to recover from that burst of energy, using all that weight, it took a while. Like you'd feel it for up to a week back then, being on that kind of diet. So that's why, you needed time for the body to recover from these very massive outbursts of energy. It's a different way of working out. You will get strong, but you need the body. You need to give the body the rest it needs. Otherwise, you're going to get in trouble. And I was doing yoga every day, and I was doing one workout a week. I think that's what I was doing, if I remember now. So it was pretty crazy. I did that for, I don't know, a few years, 4 or 5 years. It was interesting. I just wanted to see how strong you can get on a plant-based diet. It's all the strength doesn't come from the food.
No.
Stimulants will give you that false strength, but the strength comes number one from doing the work, and the mind. These are where you get the strength from. There's people that are just naturally strong, and some people have to work more at it. But naturally strong, it's something mental. There's something mental going on through genetics, whatever. But strength is something very interesting. But everybody can get strong if they work out. But just be wise and don't overdo things. Give the body rest. Like doing yoga, bike ride and stuff like that. You can do those daily pretty much, no problem. But when you get into weights and really putting a lot of exertion in the body, you need to give the body some rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
I just do I just do walking, stretching, push-ups, crunches. I do very gentle, but I haven't lost much. I see my muscle definition, Gino. Like my muscles on my back are popping out, and I don't do much, like not like how I used to, like in my 20s and 30s where I used to go to the gym a lot. But like my shoulders and that. So I don't know. Like, people say they lose muscle and stuff, but I probably have. I don't know. I don't. I just throw myself and surrender my whole body to the soul anyway. But I do actually do the intentional work, so I do have a vision, like a visual of the form that I think that's going to serve me as I, go forward in this physical realm. So I do want to feel strong, and I do want to feel that you got the energy and all that. But I've noticed, I was looking at my back yesterday in the mirror, and I'm going, there's these muscles popping out, but I'm not doing any lats or any pull downs, or I just do a few push-ups. I don't really do much. So that's really, really interesting with the fasting. You know what I mean? Like, the program is flipped on its head.
Yeah.
It's completely flipped, because I think whatever you believe you conceive, and that will come into manifestation. So you have this opportunity when you fast that you can create whatever you want, really, if you know how to tap into that soul, and if you know and you trust it, because you've got to throw yourself into the unknown and surrender in that and have that faith. But it's a fascinating journey, Gino. This is a fascinating journey, and it just keeps, even now, this fast that I'm in now compared to the last one is different, because I don't have the food. I used to have the pasta cravings and food things that come in my head, and I used to stay for days and days. Then I used to watch all the cooking shows and cooking books and that. Don't do that in this one. It doesn't hang around. It just goes. Like, I have a thought and then it just goes. You're actually training yourself to release continually. You just sort of, I think the 108 days was a bit of a training ground. And then, as you said, you open the doors. That's just opening the door. You're going to walk through it. And I go, yeah, I'm going to walk through that, because, I'm not stopping. I've gone this far. And you walk through that door. And then this fast here is just, and you'll experience it, Steve. It's like, it's a knowing. And you even believe and trust in it even more. Like, it goes deeper. And then, because I don't care about the body, like, I do care about the body. I want to enjoy my body, but I don't really, not concerned, with those things. Like, it just not there. And then you just enjoy every day, because it's, it's so beautiful in the now and every moment when you're fasting, and like how the tree says she's outside. And I get that. Like, when you're in nature and you feel things and plants are talking to you and this is all happening, you're just in your own little la-la land, and nothing from outside can affect you. There's nothing there that can really, truly, no matter what situation that you're in, the challenges and whatever, that can't affect you, because your mind automatically, I find for me, just goes into solution. It never goes on focusing on about the problems. It always goes into, okay, this is the vision, the intention that I want. And when you get regular into setting intentions, you automatically do it every morning. So then it becomes this ritual. And it's a ritual that's not forced by will. It's just is. Like it just happens. There is no force. There is no force to will myself to walk. And there is no will to meditate. You just fall into these meditative states, they just happen. And yeah, it's interesting. Gina, it's really interesting second time round.
Every fast,
as you would know.
Yeah, every fast is a different experience, for sure. It's embrace every moment.
Everything
for the ride. It's just awesome. We're already at 2 hours. My goodness. So yeah. Anybody else has anything to say, to share? And we'll call it a close.
I'm curious about Margaret's eyes. I don't know if she can hear us or not, because I was thinking about her last week too. No, she had the eye operation, didn't she, I think?
Mm-hmm.
Are you there, Margaret?
She's the eldest who did 108 days that we know of. Isn't that amazing? 83 years young.
That's crazy. Anything is possible. See?
You did a 60-day prior. So, hey,
That's beautiful.
Yeah. How bad do we want it? The doers will always do it. And
absolutely.
Everybody else, it's okay. This is not for everybody. It's too extreme for most people in their eyes. That's what they believe. But the funny thing is that I've seen a few people that were basically bedridden for a while. You could do a master fast or I'm back working, everything, and then they start getting into trouble because of their food choice, and then they start blaming the fast for destroying their lives. I'm going, okay, sure. Like these are some people that have been in bed basically for years. I just don't understand how they can't see the answers in plain sight. It was just the emotional thing that we were talking about earlier is where we have to put the focus, because the physical thing, it's the simple thing really, and we're only going to go so far with the physical. So
I was going to ask you a question, Gino. With all the wonderful people that you've helped, right, thousands and thousands of them, how many would you say that could go out on their own? Like, they may be done 108 days, and maybe done maybe a couple or three. I don't know. See, I'm just wondering, is there a point where you go, okay, I'm completely reprogrammed, I'm completely cleaned out, I'm okay to go out on my own, and I can still live the fasting lifestyle and dry fasting lifestyle, really, because this is just more about dry fasting, I think, sometimes. But yeah, what's your opinion on that?
I believe there's a couple of handfuls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to stay connected.
That are, there, 2-3 years, they're still using it as a lifestyle and continuing. And then, start gaining the understanding, it's a lifestyle. Because I've heard from people that have been there for like 3 years, oh, I'm finally getting it now. After, 2-3 years being around, so it takes a while because of our programming, and it took me 3 decades. So it takes you a few years to gain understanding. Like the V equals P take away O. It took me, that 2.5 decades to gain pretty much what the true understanding of what that is, which is the art of subtractions, as you were talking about earlier, the art of subtraction. That's what slipped my mind. The art of subtraction. This is what it is. It's the art of subtraction. We're letting things go that are not serving us in any way, shape, or form. They are actually causing imbalances within our being in all levels. So we want them to move out and keep that energy flowing and moving beautifully and gracefully. And when we get in that state, we'll always be happy. We'll always have a smile on our face. We'll have the energy. We will sleep well. You know, everything is good. Everything is good. How long will it take to get there? As long as it takes.
As long as it takes.
As long as it takes.
Day at a time.
I've not seen any diet sustainable, folks. I've been around this a long time. There's very few true long-term vegan raw food type of style lifestyles. Very, very few that are doing it long-term. I'm talking 10 plus years. You know, 15, very few. Most people will go off because they start finding that they believe something is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Something is going wrong. Something's not working, blah, 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 because they don't have fasting in their life. They're believing it was the diet that solved all their problems. The diet only de-obstructs you to the level of the food you're eating, whatever that is. So if you're on fruit, okay, you'll have de-obstruct to that level. All that old stuff will still be in you until you fast it out properly. It ain't coming out. It ain't coming out. I remember one guy in particular, 60 days. It was 60 days, I believe. The 60th day is when he unloaded some deep, old crap. And then his body started straightening out. It was all crooked, his whole body. He couldn't sit on his bum. His spine was so twisted. His body started straightening out and it freaked him right out. It was painful. But, you know, answers are in plain sight. Where do you want to go? You want to keep the body where it was, or do you want to allow the body to do what it needs to do to fix itself? So that's the choice only each individual can make. And it's not fun. It's not fun when you bring yourself to those states of imbalances, but you got to make the choice of how you want to live and be responsible and accept whatever decision you make. So it's sad that a lot of us, you know, choose the misery, pain, and suffering. It's just,
yeah,
it just is, you know, like we all do it to some degree or another. We all do it. So, okay, we have the understanding that sometimes we're going to go into that realm of misery, pain, and suffering, but we're fully responsible. We accept it and we know how to get out of it. So let's clean up and move on and focus on where we want to go. And not let these times break us down or lose our faith. And keep the faith strong, no matter what, no matter how many times we fall, keep the faith strong and move in that direction.
Thank God for the chances and the opportunities to get up and restart, you know?
You know, these hanging around like this is how we're gonna be able to do this lifestyle. Honestly, folks, like look how many people come. It's the same people.
Yeah.
If you're not hanging around, whatever, virtual or whatever, with people living it, how are you going to be able to maintain this lifestyle?
Not.
You know, this is the thing. So, all those years doing it on my own, it was very, very tough, but I was in a very, very determined state after, you know, being bedridden for those couple of years. And I don't like pain. And my tolerance for pain isn't great. So I just didn't like pain. So I was, you know, just searching and doing things and trying, experimenting to see how I can eliminate the pain. Physical pain, but also the emotional pains there, always, because that's where it derives from. And just was that strong desire. Which kept me going. and why I'm still doing this, you know, and still have the love and compassion and about fasting. And I get inspired when people fast because I see the changes in them. It changes them. It's impossible that it's not going to change you. Impossible. If you fast, it's going to change you. It's going to change you. Are you ready to accept the change? That's the question. And I can see now that I underestimated, and most people are not ready to accept the drastic change that fasting will bring into your lifestyle, especially a MFS type of fasting lifestyle, because it's very, very potent, very potent.
But it's easy at the same time.
Yeah, it's simple.
It's pretty easy, you know. Like you can work out, you can do everything. Definitely easier than eating.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have to agree with you, Rana. Like I actually see this easy. I find it easy. I don't find like 108. Like I know you say that, like you know, and then I can see that now because I never believed you previously, right? I can see that people struggle with the emotions and that. I see that coming through. And I understand that now. I didn't understand it before. Thank God I didn't understand it, and thank God I was so ignorant to it. And I just stuck to what Gino and you said. 108. Yep. Okay, I've known that, you know. So I'm just going to do that because other people have done it, and I just blocked out everything else, you know, any information. But I see the struggle. But I have to agree with you, Rana. I have to agree. This is actually so simple and yet so easy. It really is. If you want to believe that, you know, if you choose to, and the 180 days, because people say to me, oh, you know, how can you do 180 days? That's crazy, rah, rah, rah. And I know it sounds extreme because I don't even know if it's extreme or not. I don't even know what extreme is. I think the rest of your life would be extreme. But it's not. Like I've already done a month, 5 months to go.
it's always,
you know, and everything that pulls me to do a month is a 3-day dry fast. Like, because that's my reward. Not a reward, well, you know, it makes me feel good, you know. Oh, I get to the 3-day dry fast and then I can be in airy fairyland. And
you mentioned in the video you posted today about we need to forget everything. I don't think we need to forget it all. Just we put it aside and we reference it. Yeah, like, oh my goodness, is that what I used to believe? Okay, it served this purpose, like to try and forget it all. It's like an impossibility kind of thing. But it's interesting how different we start thinking when we go through the experiences, and everything changes. Everything changes when you start seeing things happen.
You start thinking is what happens.
Yeah.
So many people do not think.
It's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. It's just beautiful. If you pay attention and allow the process to happen, you know, yeah, there's going to be people. I don't say easy, Ranjit, because there are people who have really tough times. Yeah, there's a few. And they can't comprehend when they see, especially you, Ranjit, smiling and laughing about positive. They just can't comprehend it because in their reality that they've created, it's not happening in that sense. And it's okay, but you know, if they truly have the trust and faith in their soul, they will get to that place. Just like everybody else, they will get to that place. They just have to keep, you know, chugging along little by little, year after year. Keep chugging along.
Now the first few days, and I'm sure you remember this, Ranjit, coming back to the fast this time. You said it was a little bit tough, right? But that's normal, right? Remember, I think you said that it was a little bit, maybe you had headaches or something. The first.
The 3-day dry, yeah, because I did the reset on the 3-day dry, and I did get headaches from that, yeah. But after that, it was quite smooth.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, I mean, I would say for most of us who keep going back to fasting, depending what we ate before, like between the fast, it can be tough, you know. It can be like a little bit of headaches, uncomfortable, wanting to eat again what you ate yesterday, you know. So yeah, that's I would say that's the biggest challenge when the
Yeah.
first few days. But after that, it really is so easy. Maybe it's too
Ju-
easy that you
It
like
is.
you feel like you want to complicate life because the emotional imbalance, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a scary place for in the unknown for people. That's really what it is. That's why the understanding comes through the experiences. Little by little, you go a little longer, over and over and over, and you start gaining more and more trust and faith. And that's the only way really it's going to happen. It's not going. We can watch all the videos of people and everything going through it, but we don't understand until we do it.
I want to say that there is struggles there. There's always struggles.
Yeah.
Like I get abdominal pain the other day. There's my knee pain still there. I've been coughing like crazy from here, and I know I had asthma in the past. So there's stuff there. But what I choose to do when those things happen is I just say, "Oh, that's healing," and I hand it over to the other dimension. So I don't focus on it. So then I go to the focus of the bliss, because that's the only thing that's going to pull me to stay in this and have my desire, come have this manifested to go liquid, and that's what I do. So when I talk and everything, it's always about that, because if I start focusing on that, then it's going to take me down some vortex I don't want to go down. You know what I mean? I do. Honestly, I do. Everybody, I do. I have everything that probably most people talk about here: the challenges, the triggers, the cravings, and all that sort of stuff. And I just I choose things that make me feel good, rather than choosing things that don't make me feel good.
Yeah.
But the struggles, like you're talking about the struggles.
Let's see. Can you read that? No. There.
Yeah. Expect a miracle. Yeah.
Because I have that right on my computer screen.
Yeah. So, so the struggles, I would say, even when you're fasting, are easier than the struggles when you're eating. Do you agree with this? Yeah. So it's really no struggle at the end of the day. You're less struggle. You're gonna struggle anyway, so you might as well struggle less by fasting.
Judith, you want something?
So true.
Hello. How are you, everybody?
Very well.
That's good. I just wanted to touch to something you said a little bit earlier. You said that that people are not ready for the change once you finish the master fast. Yeah, but I think we are not aware. I mean, we are not connected to how the master fast goes really, really deep. That we think it's just going to be like another cleanse we did in the past. Actually, for me, for a lot of people that I've been talking with, in a group, and then we don't realize that it actually changes your blueprint, especially when you do a long one. And then the struggle comes as well in a way that after the master fast, you have to readjust everything. You have to change yourself. You have to change the place you go. You have to change the people you see. And then that is the harder thing that it has been for me to just, because when I'm myself, I'm fine. But if I have to be in a society, if I have to be with work and everything, it's just really, really, really hard to apply the less is more kind of lifestyle. And then I think as well, like you said, it's really changed a lot for, from A to Z, like you always said. But I think we are not aware how deep the master fast actually is going to change you. Yeah.
People have no clue of the power of MFS. Like, they just don't, they if they haven't done it, they have no clue.
Yeah, it's a big lifestyle change, and it's like when you do raw foods, you're gonna have like real serious lifestyle change. I mean, social changes. Like everybody who's done 100% raw, at the beginning it's hard. Everywhere you go, you don't have food. You have to bring your food, or you have to apologize you can't come. You know, there is a way, of course, around it. And one way, for example, is to bring the raw food for the party, you know, like everybody can share and eat with you. There is a way, of course, around it. It's just how bad you want it. Like it's a test. If you really want it badly, it's gonna happen. With the master fast, there is an addiction to the amazing feeling, and that comes with a long fast. I would say almost, you know, I mean, it's a long fast. It really cleans you up, and there's an amazing feeling, and that's, yeah, kind of like the standards now for living a good life, the best lifestyle are high. You know, like I want to fast.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, because once you've done a long master fast, you just can't go back
Yeah.
to the way of you were eating. Even juices, too much juice or even too much fruit, actually, is just your body is just reacting to everything.
Mhm.
And then the fact as well that, like, you know, you the job that you do or people that you live with, sometimes, you know, they don't. It's just I feel like if you want to really live on a master fast, you just need to live by yourself.
Yeah, you know what? I would say the cheap different from raw food. With raw food, you can still socialize, but when you're living only like liquids, it's gonna be
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I did the raw food, and then I mean, it wasn't a life exchange. You know, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing and everything. But I was still able to, you know, to just be surrounded by people and go to dinner, you know, and go to party without, you know,
yeah. Yeah.
feeling anything as deep as the master
Yeah.
fast, if I can say.
Yeah, and the master fast also gives you a much nicer feeling than raw food, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, no doubt about that.
So when you go back to eating, it's like you get depressed.
Yeah, it is exactly that. It's just you feel like you need to eat something.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I've went to so many social gathering events fasting over the years. So many. I've lost count. There's just once you understand, you devote, you just, you know, you're in those states and nothing really bothers you. You know, you have a juice in your hand or whatever, and you just let along. Instead of socializing about the food, you make socialize about other things.
Yeah, it's doable too, but it's just again, like
it's challenging. It's challenging for
about
people.
finding your balance, and it's a little bit harder than with raw foods for sure. Yeah, it's about finding the balance, and it can be very challenging for sure. Eating versus not eating.
I got to put a warning. Are you sure you're ready for MFS?
I think we have to do that because, like you said earlier to the other lady, if she is ready, because she said she's done, you know, vegan and fruit and juice in her past, but master fast, it's another level. And that is that's, I think, as well, we are not aware of it and how deep it's gonna change you and how hard it's gonna be after the master fast. Because like you were saying earlier as well, Rana and Ranjit, it's actually very easy to be on a master fast. It's much easier than, you know, than anything else.
Yeah.
Really, really much easier. And then the lightness, you know, and the bliss you feel, and it's just the glow you have is just everything. But somehow, when you're not ready, you don't know how deep it's gonna change you. It's really, really tough to make it a lifestyle. I found for myself.
It's an ongoing challenge, that
So-
like every other challenge in our lives.
Would you have rather not found it?
Oh no, it's a blessing. I keep saying to, you know, to myself and into all the people that, you know, that, like, you know, they keep like judging me, and they think, even work, you know, they think that I'm completely like, that I have a mental issue. Because since I started that job in December, they only see me drinking juice. But I completely stopped hanging out with them even during lunchtime, because we have lunchtime all together, because I was just sick of, you know, hearing them. I've been on a juice on and off, but not with the grape juice lately. I stopped the grape. What is not? It's really, I can't really afford right now some the grape juice, because here in Australia I found a very good one, but it's very expensive. All the cheap one is just really, really bad ones. So I've been doing apple juice, and then doing sometimes some fresh juices as well on the weekend, because I found they give me more balance. Because when it's the weekend, I'm not at work. I have tendency to think, when I'm not that busy, to think more about food, about like even fruit, even vegan clean food. So, but I did a 40 days just before Christmas, and that was really tough. That was my first one after my 108 days. That was like probably a year ago. So no, a year after that. So I did 40 days before Christmas, and I broke at Christmas because I had a girlfriend. Anyway, I found an excuse. I had a fruitarian girlfriend who came over from Europe and was staying here with me. So because it was summertime, so I should have kept going, because since then I just can't go back to juicing all the time. And then now, yeah, I'm on my way of planning, getting the money for the herbs and everything, because I don't have any herbs left either. I'm on my way to, planning the money to get everything that I need, and then do another 108 days.
Another one.
Yeah, because like I said, when I did the 108 days, I felt like I wanted to keep going, but because I kept listening to my close friends and family, I stopped it. Then I regretted it straight away. Once I put the fruit in my mouth, I was like, oh, why did I do that? It's just like I did the biggest mistake. And I'm really craving to feel light. And then I still have so much work to do inside, deep work that I have to do to heal myself, actually. And that's the only reason why, actually. It's just the feeling good and the work that I'm trying to do on myself. And I was able to connect with myself that deep only when I was on master fast. And that's why I'm craving, actually. It's just a way to help me to heal myself, because that's where I am now. And then when I was on master fast, I did a lot of work on that, and then it really saved my life. So yeah.
One day at a time. That's all we can do. As far as new people, I think they shouldn't go more than 40 days, maybe the first time, unless they're in a situation where they're in a serious situation where they really obstruct themselves and on their deathbed and so on and so forth. But they have to really have a strong will and desire and understanding of how they're going to exit. Because
emotional balance.
Yeah, because it's very, very, very life-changing experience. And
that was my mistake of not planning how to come out of the fast in the long term. I thought, I'm fine, I got it.
No matter how many times we talk about it and write it, it's
exactly.
Sink in to people.
I mean, if you feel good at day 40, and you feel strong emotionally that you're not gonna mess up breaking it, then go longer, if you feel strong. But if you feel like, okay, now maybe I need to take a break just so I am in the safe zone, not imbalanced emotionally, then stop at 40, The 40 will give you a nice cleanse, a good cleanse, and then somehow make it a lifestyle that suits you. Maybe every season change, go do a few weeks, and every week do a few days.
Yeah, the 40 days were good, but I felt like my body was only starting to release everything. Like I'm on my first fast, 108 days. It's only after probably day 50 that my body really starting to move things around.
Yeah.
Next
time. I would say after the 2 months, you really start loving it. 2 months, then you're like, it's a completely different state. It's deep.
Yeah, you start going to deeper and deeper layers with each fast. And that's why it's always a new experience. And sometimes, your fourth, fifth fast down the road you'll have more healing reactions than the previous fast. We don't know. It's very interesting the way it works because it's done in layers. So be prepared and embrace it all, and just understand and know and have the faith that it's all an autopilot. Everything's fine. Just use the tools to pull you through, and allow that process to take place. It's just it's really magical when you see it happen. Like I said, expect a miracle.
Mhm.
Happen all the time.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
The MFS is truly the realm where everything's possible. We've seen things that even was jaw dropping to me, and I've been at this a long time. Some stuff. I'm going, my goodness gracious, everything is truly possible.
It's amazing what the body can do, but just learning how to allow the body to heal itself.
All right, so we've got an extra half an hour. Let's call it a night, and it's been a blast as usual, hanging around, and supporting, inspiring each other. This is great, and that's why we keep going. We're still here.
Yeah.
We do the best we can. That's all we can do. We do the best we can. Don't let any falling down or misunderstanding of what's actually happening put you down. Learn to trust in your soul. Yeah, some of us are really obstructive and we're going to have some challenges, but you can get through it. You can get through anything. We've seen the worst of the worst of the worst get through and still around.
Yeah. Yeah, remember to work on the emotions, prayer, make time for connecting with God, and allowing it just to happen. Yeah, it's definitely much deeper when we're eating cleaner and when we're fasting. So take the opportunity and enjoy it. It's a beautiful, it really is the most beautiful thing in this world, I would say, is to connect to God. And fasting makes it easier. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for sharing. It's so nice to meet new people as well. Thank you. God bless you. Have a fantastic week. Love you, Rana and Gino and everyone.
Keep that plasma love flowing, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ladies and gents, good night.
Good night.
Good day or whatever you are.